G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Coast Club and today we are here doing our round 17 tips and predictions. Also going to go through our round 16 tips and predictions. Before we get into the video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We have just hit 200 subs, so I appreciate it. Now let's get our way over to 300 subscribers. So we're going to start off by reviewing round 16. So I got a total in round 16 of 6 out of 9 tips correct. Going to go through all the games this round. We had a very good start and then fell off poorly. First game on the Thursday, which was Brisbane Lions versus Richmond, I tipped the Lions to win by 25 points. Obviously, they won by 81, getting an absolute demolishing over the Richmond Tigers. Now, on the Friday, Sydney versus Geelong, everyone got this tip correct, as it was a draw. Very interesting game. I thought that it would be an amazing, even more better of a game than I knew it would be better, but I didn't know it would be a goddamn draw. I thought at least Geelong would have probably got the job done. Anyway, now moving on to the Saturday games, where we got 3 out of the 4 games correct. So in the mornings we had Adelaide Crows in North Melbourne and Western Bulldogs v Fremantle. I got them both correct. Now this is where I got my first tip incorrect. Unfortunately, when the Suns played the Pies at Heritage Bank Stadium, unfortunately I tipped the Gold Coast Suns to win, and they ended up losing by 78 points. Unfortunately, that was terrible. Now, a goal after the siren thriller at the MCG on Saturday night. Essendon vs Port Adelaide, Dan Houston kick a goal after the siren. Absolutely amazing scenes to see there. Now, moving on to the Sunday games, we had Hawthorn versus Carlton, which Carlton ended up getting the job done by 60, and I tipped Hawthorn to win. Now, a very big upset at TIO Traeger Park. Melbourne Demons vs GWS. GWS ended up getting the job done by 2 points. Honestly, I reckon everyone would probably get that tip wrong. And then, obviously, the last game of the round, I got it correct. West Coast Eagles vs St Kilda. Very good game. West Coast did have a chance at winning, but unfortunately St Kilda got there in the end. West Coast was in the lead for the first 3 quarters, and then St Kilda obviously got the chocolates in the end. Now time to move on to my round 17 tips and predictions. Starting off with the Thursday night at the 6th of July 2023 at 5:20 p.m. at MCG. We have Richmond versus Sydney Swans. Sydney Swans obviously just came off a win. I'd say it's kind of like a win. I'm good, but they just came off a draw towards the Geelong Cats, getting an absolute amazing little bit of a comeback story. Maybe soon they could maybe get into the finals. Who knows? Richmond have just came off a loss too as well to the Lions by 81 points, which gets me to my prediction. I'm going to go with the Swans to win by 15 points. Now moving on to the Friday, 7th of July 2023, 5:50 p.m. at Marvel Stadium, Collingwood versus Western Bulldogs. Obviously, Collingwood is kind of the way to go. Western Bulldogs have just came off a very 29-point win towards the Fremantle Dockers. Collingwood actually also have just came off a win to the Gold Coast Suns, which by 78 points. So mostly all the tipping will go towards the Collingwood Magpies, and that's who I've tipped today. Now, moving on to the 4 Saturday games, mostly all of them will be absolute flogging, and I've only went for one upset this whole day. So we're going to start on the Saturday, 8th of July 2023 at 11:45 a.m. WA time, so that'll be 1:45 p.m. Victoria time. I'm going to start saying Victoria time now. At the Gabba, we have Brisbane Lions versus West Coast Eagles. Obviously, West Coast Eagles have just nearly just won to the St Kilda Saints, which I'd say they started off their season well, and now they've just gotten a little bit worse. So really, honestly, but it's still a surprise to see West Coast nearly win. But if you check out the PointsBet odds, $1.01 to $34, mostly everyone has to really tip the Brisbane Lions here. Mostly everyone has to. Now moving on to the 2:35 game, 2:35 WA game, which will be 4:35 PM Victoria time at Giant Stadium. We have GWS versus Hawthorn. Obviously, in round 5, this was also a very, very good match. It was a 2-point thriller in the end, 77-75. GWS ended up getting the chocolates done in the gather round, which they did verse in as well. And now they're back having a little bit of a rematch. $1.25 to $4. I have went with GWS to win this game. Now moving on to the 7:25 PM Victoria time at Marvel Stadium. We have St Kilda versus Melbourne Demons, and this is where I went with the upset. Melbourne Demons obviously are still probably going to be a little bit disappointed about last week, which they did end up losing towards the GWS Giants at TAO Trigger Park. St Kilda just had a very, very good win against the West Coast Eagles, where they were down for the first 3 quarters. Don't think they actually ever got a single lead change, other than until that 4th quarter where they ended up getting the chocolates done against the West Coast Eagles. And that's why I've tipped the St Kilda Saints, even though the odds are $2.75 to $1.45. Percentages are 15 to 85%. So, but I've went with the St Kilda Saints to win this game. Now moving on to Port Adelaide versus Gold Coast Suns at Adelaide Oval at 7:40 PM Victoria time. Obviously, Port Adelaide just got an impressive win over the Essendon Bombers, which honestly is very, very big for them. Dan Houston kicked a goal after the siren. Probably going to go in with very, very good behaviour, very good feelings in their hearts, and will probably get the job done against Gold Coast Suns. Gold Coast Suns also just came off a loss towards the Collingwood Magpies by 78 points, which makes me feel like the Gold Coast Suns probably will play a little bit terribly in this game, and I feel like that actually will happen, and they will play absolutely terribly. So that's why I went with the Port Adelaide Power to win this game. Now moving on to Geelong Cats versus North Melbourne at 1:10 PM Victoria time at GMHBA. 9th vs 17th. Geelong have just came off a draw towards the Sydney Swans. North Melbourne have just came off a loss towards the Adelaide Crows. Honestly, if Geelong really win, it's not going to be a surprise. Geelong will definitely get the job done, clearly, especially after how well the Geelong Cats are playing right now. North Melbourne have been playing absolutely terribly. We're going to move on to the 3:20 PM game at Marvel Stadium for Victoria. Essendon versus Adelaide Crows, 8th versus 7th. This is going to be a very, very thriller of a game. 62% to 38%. Essendon Bombers definitely had the bigger chance. Adelaide Crows had just had a very, very big win towards the North Melbourne Kangaroos. But it is North Melbourne Kangaroos after all. So we have went the Essendon Bombers to end up winning the game. Now moving on to the last game of the round at 4:40 PM Victoria time at Optus Stadium. We have Fremantle Dockers versus Carlton Blues. Fremantle have just came a 29-point loss towards the Western Bulldogs, and Carlton have just came off a win towards the Hawks by 60 points, making me feel like that the Carlton Blues may have a big chance at winning. But it's at Optus Stadium. Fremantle do kind of play well at Optus Stadium. So I have gone with Fremantle Dockers to end up winning this game. Fremantle will probably just be absolutely destroying Andrew Brayshaw. Going to be an absolute gun in that game, especially because it's at Optus Stadium. So yeah, that is my tips and predictions, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 300 subs now. We're on the grind to 300 subs. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.